Flavors and is low in sugar. It also contains 5 essential daily vitamins and minerals. Rasna Drink Mix is available nationwide. For more information, call us on 233-2473. Rasna, endorsed by celebrities.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello and welcome to your news at noon that comes to you with the compliments of Rasna Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the top stories, let's get to today's page 7 of the Kaieteur News that is dedicated to bluntness. The moment of truth has arrived. The greatest giveaway in the history of the Caribbean is being exposed. Those behind this dastardly plot are hoping that it will be a quiet storm and blow over. But we know that the reality will be far from that. Those who have sinisterly and secretively acquired our oil blocks for free must return them forthwith. And those who gave them away must be made to answer for the misdeeds. And now for the top stories we're tracking. Senegal loses billions of dollars after awarding gas blocks to unqualified companies. Kanji owner has no assets, proven track record, or finances to acquire Kanji block. SARA disbanded. Chinese supermarket robbed, 1 shot, and 2 accused in Robb Street arson and murder freed on no case submission. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Increased risk of sexual abuse, and the perpetrator can be nearer than you think. So stay alert and be aware. Be aware of your neighbors. Be aware of your friends. Be aware of the people you have in your home. Do not become complacent. Protect children now. You can make a report to the police or call the CPA hotline on 227-0979.
A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail. It is clear that experience and a proven track record in a particular area are critical qualities to consider before giving a person or a company an important job to do. Furthermore, if an individual would consider these 2 factors in their decision-making process, then it is expected that the government would do the same. Unfortunately, this is not always the case. So said expert on oil sector corruption, Alexandre Gillies. In this regard to Senegal's petroleum industry, Gillies said that the administration, that is led by President Macky Sall, gave away 2 of his nation's most prime offshore gas fields to a company that has 0 experience, much less a proven track record of safe development of such resources. The country then lost billions of dollars. Gillies said companies of this sort are clearly not qualified to own oil and gas assets. She stressed that it is a glaring red flag that always warrants scrutiny by civil society. It has been 7 years since Mid-Atlantic Oil and Gas Inc. registered as a company and 5 years since it was awarded the Kanji block. It is now 2020 and Mid-Atlantic has not stabilized itself at an office space and its website is still under construction. This paints a fair picture of the company entrusted by the Donald Ramadar administration with a job of developing one of Guyana's most lucrative oil blocks, now estimated to hold 5.1 billion oil equivalent barrels, worth more than $200 billion even in today's depressed oil prices. Mid-Atlantic received the Kanji block without demonstrating the requisite assets, proven track record, and finances to acquire and develop such a block. When the company was incorporated, 2 directors were named, Nicholas Chakasang and Hewley Nelson. In other news, contending that from the inception of the State Assets Recovery Agency, or SARA, was not crafted with the best interest of the people in mind, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal announced yesterday that a decision has been taken to close the operations of SARA. Nandlal noted that letters were dispatched yesterday terminating the employment of the agency's staff. He noted that the PPPC has always been heavily critical of the law governing SARA as well as the operations of the purported state agency. He pointed out that the agency has achieved nothing in 5 years but gobbled up close to 1 billion Guyana dollars in public funds in salaries, wages, rent and operational expenses. And moving on, police last evening responded to a distress call after gunshots were heard after bandits invading the Ego Chinese supermarket located at Melanie on the east coast of Demerara. Neighbors recalled hearing shots being fired sometime after 19 hours. According to eyewitnesses, 4 gunmen were seen entering the building. They attacked a Chinese national and dealt him a blow to the head with a gun and began demanding cash. Nevertheless, the prompt response by police, backed up by heavily armed guards, almost foiled their plans. We were told that the men managed to escape before the cops arrived, but not before stealing some cash and ripped out a few security cameras along with its DVR. Sources said that when police arrived, they were told of a grey Toyota Allion motorcar which sped off from in front of the building in the direction of Berbice. One of the victims was shot in the leg during the course of the robbery. Meanwhile, 2 persons accused of arson and murder in relation to the Robb Street fire, which claimed the lives of 63-year-old Hilrod Randolph Thomas and his 2 daughters, have been freed on a no-case submission. The no-case submission was upheld by Justice Brassington Reynolds at the High Court in Georgetown yesterday. 25-year-old Avishkar Bisoon and his 75-year-old employer Ganga Krishna were jointly charged with 3 counts of murder on November 17, 2014, after setting their house on fire. In upholding this position, Justice Reynolds agreed that the evidence led by the prosecution was not sufficient to support the charges brought against the 2 accused. As a consequence, the judge directed the jury to formally return a verdict of not guilty, acquitting the former accused of the crimes. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your News at Noon. We will return after the break. Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Qatar has pledged support to several sectors as part of strengthened diplomatic relations with Guyana. In a number of areas, including energy, oil and gas, services and infrastructure, the Middle Eastern country is prepared to give support. It was revealed that this support was pledged to President Irfan Ali during a telephone conversation yesterday with the Emir of Qatar, His Royal Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. According to the release, The two discussed several areas of collaboration and cooperation, which will include support for the agriculture sector through investments in the halal industry, expansion of the housing program, and strengthening of diplomatic ties between the countries and support in other critical sectors. In other news, instead of rendering assistance, the driver of a tinted black Nissan Tita motorcar decided to flee the scene after he struck down two Kaieteur News staffers on Monday. The incident occurred on the Houston East Bank Demerara Public Road sometime around 16:45. The staffers were at the time on work that saw them traveling on a motorcycle along the western carriageway of the public road. The rider said that he felt an impact from behind which caused him to lose control of the bike, which as a result fell to the road. They both received injuries and lacerations to the body. However, instead of stopping to assist them, the driver sped off, heading presumably to Georgetown. Eyewitnesses detailed that the car was speeding and appeared as if the driver was trying to beat traffic. The matter has since been reported to ranks at the Rijnveld police station. And moving on, the PNCR chairperson and former Minister of Health, Valda Lawrence, was yesterday released on $100,000 bail after she was arrested and detained when she reported to the CID headquarters at Ivlery in Georgetown. This was confirmed by Crime Chief Wendell Blanham, who stated that Lawrence was released on bail and was asked to return to CID today. The police had asked Lawrence to report to the CID headquarters on Saturday last in relation to the investigation of electoral fraud committed during the March elections. However, Lawrence finally reported yesterday morning where she was arrested. And now let's tell you that a 16-year-old boy collapsed yesterday on the kitchen floor of a stranger's house after he was brutally beaten and stabbed by three other teenagers. Jumal Park of Non-Perel Street, Alboystown, was slain just after 10 hours yesterday at Front Road, West Rijnveld. Police, in a report, said that at the time of the attack, Park was washing a car at the wash bay where he worked. Three boys, ages 17, 18, and 19 respectively, armed with pieces of wood and a knife, approached Park and called him out to fight. Upon seeing the trio, Park turned and ran into a nearby yard, but they caught him. Police has since managed to apprehend one of the suspects, while the others are still on the run. And coming from RD Production, a woman has been arrested after allegedly throwing her newborn infant out of a bathroom window at Ozone Park in Queens, New York, moments after giving birth. Remarkably, the newborn boy survived and remained in critical condition, suffering hypothermia. The baby boy, who was discovered with his umbilical cord still attached in the alleyway of the Queen's home, remains in critical condition. The 23-year-old mother, Sabita Dukram, has since been taken into custody. It is now 12 hours 14. Coming up next is your COVID-19 update.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
And now for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases according to Worldometer has reached 38,547,199, with deaths at 1,093,305. Recovery cases has reached 28,959,231. Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday reported 44 new cases of COVID-19. The new cases have brought Guyana's COVID-19 number to 3,565. According to the updated dashboard released by the ministry yesterday, of the new cases recorded, 29 were in Region 1, 13 in Region 4, and 2 in Region 3. Further, the dashboard noted that 16 patients remain in COVID-19 ICU, 132 in institutional isolation, and 876 in home isolation. An additional 39 persons are in institutional quarantine. The information noted too that 106 persons have died and 2,435 have recovered. As COVID-19 numbers continue to rise daily, a total lockdown would seem like the most viable measure to curb the spread of the pandemic. But according to President Irfan Ali, information from experts revealed that such a move may not be the best way. In endorsing the reopening of the country's 2 international airports to commercial operations, President Ali said what is needed is strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols. And coming from CNN, small gatherings are a growing source of COVID-19 spread in the U.S., a leading health expert said. At least 36 states report increased cases and hospitalizations rise. Global coronavirus cases have surpassed 38 million, with the U.S., India, and Brazil accounting for more than half of the world's recorded infections. Meanwhile, drug maker Eli Lilly said it is pausing its trial of a coronavirus combination antibody treatment for safety reasons. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, it came to you with the compliments of Rasna Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Coming up next is the National Outlook with GHK Lal, and we do apologize for the inconvenience caused. There will be no Wake Up Guyana today with Leonard Gildari due to unforeseen circumstances. We do apologize.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads